welcome. You're watching NewsX with me, Devika Devan. The Indian Navy has returned to reliable ancient Indian seafaring traditions and wisdom as the INSV Kaundinya set sail from Porbandar in Gujarat to Muscat in Oman on the 29th of December 2025. Let's take a look at that moment. To the tune of the naval band, this two-masted sailboat with 18 specially trained crew have started their maiden voyage. On your screens, you can see the crew meeting Isa Saleh Al-Shabani, the ambassador of the Sultanate of Oman to India, who was present at the flag-off ceremony of the vessel. INSV Kaundinya is unlike most modern-day ships. Let's see how. It has no engines, no propulsion equipment and no steel hulls, and it is set to remap the transoceanic voyage along the ancient trade route. It is sailing to Oman to trace the age-old route that was once used to transport goods such as spices, ivory and textiles. It is expected to reach Oman's shores in 2 weeks, covering a distance of 750 nautical miles or roughly 1,400 kilometers. Because it has no engine or propulsion equipment, it will be completely left to the mercy of the ocean winds. This journey is of non-combat vessel, symbolizing the expertise of the remaining traditional shipwrights in India and preserving the fading art for future generations. Let's now answer some critical questions about this ship, starting with how this was built. Kaundinya is a traditionally built ancient stitched ship based on a 5th century CE ship depicted in the murals of the Cave 17 of Ajanta complex in Kerala by master shipwright Babu Sankaran. It follows the Tankai method of shipbuilding, which is at least 2,000 years old technology. This method stitches wooden planks together with coconut fiber ropes rather than using nails or metal fasteners. In fact, the method avoids the use of metal entirely, and wood, coconut fiber and natural resin are the primary components. This traditional method of stitching offers the hull some flexibility and durability, making the ship less prone to damage from shoals and sandbars. The method begins with the construction of the hull before the ribs, unlike most Western shipbuilding methods. In July 2023, Kaundinya project was initiated through a tripartite agreement signed by the Ministry of Culture, the Indian Navy and Hori Innovations with funding from the Ministry of Culture. The Ministry of Culture and the Indian Navy signed an MOU to revive and preserve the Tankai method of shipbuilding. Its birth began with the keel laying in September 2023. It took almost 2 years before it was launched by Minister of Culture Gajendra Singh Shekhawat in February 2025 in Goa. Kaundinya was inducted into the Indian Navy at the Naval Base Karwar on the 21st of May 2025. INSV Kaundinya is 65 feet long, 22 feet wide and 13 feet high, with a draft of about 11 meters and a displacement of 50 tons. As there was no surviving blueprint of this ancient ship, the Navy extrapolated the designs from several iconographic sources and ensured that the design was authentic through hydrodynamic model testing at the Department of Ocean Engineering. Let's take a minute to now admire the beauty of this traditional ship. The Gandha Birunda, which is a form of Vishnu in Hindu mythology, and the sun motifs are displayed on the sails, whereas the bow of the ship is sculpted with a Simha Yali, a mythical creature that has the body of a lion with the elephant's tusks and a serpent's tail. With Harappan stone armor decorating the deck, Sanjeev Sanyal, a member of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council who first pitched the idea, has given a glimpse on life aboard. Let's venture inside. Life on Kaundinya is completely old school. There are no cabins, just an open deck and a dark hole for supplies. The crew mostly sleeps outside in sleeping bags, taking turns below deck only during rough weather. Modern comforts are minimal aside from basic safety and communication gear. Even the toilet is a simple basket that is slung over the side of the boat. Food is basic as well. The team carries a few fresh vegetables for the first few days, then switches to dry ration and whatever fish they can catch. Fresh water is rationed to about 4.5 liters per person per day for drinking, cooking and washing. All cooking happens on a small outdoor stove secured to prevent accidents on the rolling sea. But why is it named Kaundinya? Kaundinya is the first Indian mariner known to have sailed into Southeast Asia. He sailed across the Indian Ocean and discovered the Asian kingdom of Funan, which is present-day Cambodia. His references are recorded in Cambodian and southern Vietnamese sources, but not in Indian records. In fact, we do not know what Kaundinya's ship looked like. Ancient India's seafarers mastered navigation, trade and shipbuilding long before the modern era, and INSV Kaundinya is a powerful reminder of that legacy. Their voyages were driven by skill, courage and curiosity, and not just technology alone. Reviving these traditions means investing in indigenous shipcraft, nurturing ocean-faring skills and reconnecting with the maritime wisdom that once made India a leading sea power. But what does this truly mean for us? I take this conversation forward with Commodore Anil Singh, a former Navy officer joining us on NewsX. Commodore Singh, I want to understand from you, sir, your thoughts on this very unique adventure that India has now undertaken.
Thank you for having me on your show. As a former naval officer, I'm extremely proud to see this revival of India's ancient maritime heritage, India's ancient maritime tradition, which goes back almost 5,000 years. You know, India was one of the leading seafaring nations of the world. And even today, it remains a maritime nation. We are very heavily dependent on the sea. And it's not a coincidence that, you know, the Indian Ocean is the only ocean in the world which is named after a country. It just reflects the kind of influence India had on these waters in ancient times. And I think the launch of Kaundinya and Kaundinya sailing from Port Bandar to Muscat is a reflection of this very rich maritime heritage. It reflects India's mastery of the seas and mastery of the wind and waves, where they used to navigate to and from, which is also being captured under Project Mosam, which is under the Ministry of Culture. So I think it is very important for any nation. It's a very important aspect of nation building, because a country's ancient heritage must be recognized and must be celebrated. Now, India, for many years, we did not know very much about India's rich maritime heritage. And one of the characteristics of any maritime nation is a consciousness amongst the people of the country to understand the importance of the maritime domain and how it is going to affect their lives in the future as well, which is what we are going to face in India, dependent as we are to the extent on the Indian Ocean. So I think from many perspectives, Kaundinya is a very live symbol of not only our historical heritage, but how we inspires confidence in our present and also sends a message for the future that India is reviving its maritime heritage, India is reclaiming its maritime glory, and this is the way India is going to recapture, or not really recapture, but regain its its rightful place in the maritime domain. So I think from all these perspectives, this is a very impressive initiative. Not many countries have done it. I don't know, for your viewers, I would like to say that, you know, India was one of the leading shipbuilders of the world right up till the 18th century. It was only when the Industrial Revolution happened, and we being a colony, we were bypassed by the British when we lost our rich traditions, when the shift took place from, sail to steam, from steam to sail to steam, and from wood to steel. Technologies that were not passed down in India, we were deprived of it, and so we lost our dominance in shipbuilding. Now, this is also a good time to also mention that not only are ships like Kaundinya going to revive that heritage, it's a symbolic gesture. It's sailed out, actually sailed. It's been built from, we didn't have any records. It's been built from putting together, whatever knowledge we had, whatever drawings we had, and that speaks volumes for our ship designers. But also, I must tell you that, even today, the second oldest floating warship in the world, HMS Trincomalee, which is in one of the British museums, in a museum in Britain, was built in India. So India has had this rich tradition, and I'm glad it is being revived, because it will not only send a notice of our capabilities to the present, but for our own people, it's a very important dimension of our importance as a maritime nation.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for joining us on NewsX with that perspective.